Hello everybody, it's Mr. Q again. What's up? Hope you guys are staying safe and having fun. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is an island in the Indian Ocean just off of the southeast coast of India. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that you can do if you go to Sri Lanka. Here are a couple pictures of the Sri Lankan countryside. Most people get to Sri Lanka by traveling to the capital city of Colombo, and you'll travel there by airplane. One of the first things you'll probably notice when you arrive in Sri Lanka is how friendly all the locals are and how safe it feels. There are many things to do in Sri Lanka, and one thing that many people like to do is to go to the ocean. And fortunately, Colombo is on the ocean. It's right next to the ocean. So you can go to the ocean. You can swim, but most people go there just to walk down the very long boardwalk. There's like a little walking path that stretches for the whole city. There aren't very many really nice beaches in Colombo, so people mostly don't swim and don't surf in Colombo. They just walk along the ocean on the boardwalk. Sri Lanka has some interesting food involved with it because Sri Lankan people tend to eat with their fingers. They don't use forks and spoons very much. They just use their fingers. And because of that, their food is kind of dry. There's not a lot of sauces. It's usually more pasta-y and bready kind of dryness to it, so that it's easy to eat with your fingers. Every restaurant you go to will have at least one sink for people to wash their hands before and after they finish eating. After eating, many people like to go visit the temples. All over Sri Lanka, there are many different types of temples that can be visited. There are many Buddhist temples, there are many Hindu temples, and the cool thing about these temples are that they are well kept. That's because they still practice their ceremonies and other rituals in these temples. So they tend to be very colorful and a lot of pictures and statues, and it's very fun to look at and to experience some of the rituals that occur in these temples. And not only do they practice their religions, they also wear their local clothing. They have, yes, many people wear Western style clothing, but many also, especially women, wear their local custom clothes, which is very pretty, very colorful, very fun to look at. And once you're finished in Colombo, you'll want to visit some more of the island, so you might take a bus or a train. Public transportation in Sri Lanka is very inexpensive. It doesn't matter if it's a bus or a train. But the buses are very colorful. They have a lot of pictures and they have statues of travel guides and stuff to make sure that they have safe trips and safe journeys. And it's interesting how many people need to take the train to go to work in the morning. In fact, you might think of rush hour where you're from and think about how many people have to fit inside those trains. Well, in Sri Lanka, they're so full that people have to ride on the outside of the train sometimes. And that's not very safe, but they still do it because they have to get to work. And the trains aren't very as long as they need to be to accommodate everybody. You can see the boardwalk to the right. There's nothing on the other side. Here's some of their local food. And here are some pictures of some Buddhist monasteries and some mosques and some Hindu temples. Here you can see the inside of a couple of buses, and you can see how beautiful and colorful they are. Here you can see the procession of one of the rituals inside one of the temples. Imagine if you had to commute to work on the outside of a train like these guys. Another popular city that many people visit when they go to Sri Lanka is called Kandy, except they spell it with a K instead of a C. In Kandy, of course, you can find more temples that you can go visit. And Kandy is an interesting place because it's centrally located between other things that you might want to do in Sri Lanka, like going on a safari. A safari is where you take a truck or jeep and you drive across the countryside and you're looking for animals. And it is very popular to go see the ox and elephants that roam the countryside. Another popular destination that you can get to pretty easily from Kandy is called Sigiriya Rock. Sigiriya Rock is commonly known as an eighth wonder of the world. It is 200 meters above the ground. And Sigiriya means lion. So its real name is Lion Rock. And they named it that because about halfway up the plateau, it's like a little mountain, and at the top of the mountain there's a plateau. It's kind of flat. But halfway up, there used to be a giant statue of a lion there. And nowadays, all you can see are the two paws, the two hands of the lion. But it is still an amazing sight to see those giant paws carved into the mountain. And Sigiriya Rock was founded and used as a Buddhist monastery over 1700 years ago. And it was used mostly for that for about 900 years. So about 500 years ago, people stopped using Sigiriya Rock as a monastery, and it kind of got forgotten for a little while. And then people started realizing that it was an interesting place to go, and tourists were very interested in hiking up to the top and seeing the beautiful views that you can get from the top of Sigiriya Rock. Here you see Patty in the back of the Jeep that we took for the safari. Here you see a couple of pictures of elephants that have been wandering around that we saw on our safari. And here is a picture of an ox that we saw on the safari, and here's a video of an elephant. Here you see the view during our safari at sunset. Here's Patty at Sigiriya Rock. Here's a mischievous monkey who likes to steal things. Here you can see the two paws of the lion. This is the top of the plateau on top of Sigiriya Rock. And this is the view that you can see from atop the rock. The third place that I'm going to talk about today is called Gal, but it's spelled Gale, G-A-L-L-E. And this is a very popular destination, especially for tourists, because in that part of the country, in the southwest of the country, there are some really nice beaches, and the waves are a little bit taller, so people can go swimming and people can go surfing. And it doesn't matter where you go in the country, there's a lot of the ocean that's available for people to see. So you don't have to just go to Colombo or to Gal to be able to see the ocean. But Gal is one of the more popular places that you can go. Here are some pictures of the beautiful beach and ocean down in Gal. And one thing that many tourists really enjoy when they go to Sri Lanka is watching the local dances. They're very similar to other dances that you may have seen before in other countries like Thailand or other places. But these dances tend to revolve around everyday life, like watering the crops or plowing the fields, and they also have dances that help against evil spirits. And they even have some fire dancers, that is dancers that either walk on the fire or they play with the fire on sticks, and they juggle the sticks and they touch the fire to their skin, and they can put the flame into their mouth, or they can make big fireballs. It's very cool and fun to watch. Here you can see some local dance, and in this picture they're spinning plates. This costume is supposed to scare away evil spirits. Here's someone walking on fire. Enjoy watching these fire dancers. We really enjoyed our trip and journey around Sri Lanka. It's a very overlooked destination. Not only are there a lot of things to do there, but it's relatively inexpensive, which means it doesn't cost a lot of money to do things there. The hotels can be kind of cheap, and the local food is kind of cheap. So it's a great destination for people that don't have a lot of money but want to go somewhere very interesting. Today, I've talked about Sri Lanka, the capital city, Colombo, where you fly into, and how there are beaches that run all around the country, and how in some of the cities you really only just walk on the boardwalk, like in Colombo, and in other cities you might surf and swim in the ocean, like in Gala. Their food tends to be very dry, so that it's easy to eat with their fingers. And there are many, many beautiful temples that you can go and explore and watch some of their rituals and customs associated with those religions. It's very interesting. And the transportation is very colorful. It's hard to miss the buses. But you will see that on some of the rush hour trains, it's so crowded that people have to ride on the outside of the train. You think it's very busy in some of your trains and how it's you get very smushed inside there, but these trains have people on the outside even. There's so many people trying to ride the train. And it's very interesting that they still wear their local attire instead of only wearing Western clothes, or they have a variety of things that they can wear, and usually they're very colorful. And once you get outside of Colombo, you can go to other cities like Kandy, and from there you can go see elephants and other animals on safari. You can go to very interesting local attractions like Sigiriya Rock, and there's many other interesting things that you can see there that I didn't cover today. But it's definitely a worthwhile trip to go to Sri Lanka and enjoy the culture, enjoy the people, enjoy the country. It's a fun place to be. For your homework today, I'd like you to think about all the different places in your country that are similar. I want you to think of some places that have cultural significance, or places that were very difficult or took a very long time to build. And I want you to think about how some of your customs might line up with customs from other countries. And once you do that, I'd like you to share that with your classmates. All right, guys, that's it for me today, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.